The car, I swear the car is learning.
Whoa, it's doing... I gotta take over.
No, it's staying in the lane. So it's figured this out. And I didn't do anything. Oh, wait. This is amazing. Goes, now it's driving. I have to take over. Because now it's driving on the shoulder. It's very hesitant. But it did it. It did it. So if somebody was behind me, they would have been pretty ticked off. What do we call this now? Do we call this is like an it, a she, a he, a person? Or are we still just calling it computer software? Okay, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Welcome to Regen Nation. This is FSD, what is it, 12.3.4, the newest version, I think, of the software. So what we're going to do in this video is take a look at some of the good and bad things that version 12 can do now. Now, some of it's going to be bad, some of it's going to be good. And just over the past few days that I've been driving with it, downtown Toronto, on the highway, at night, and different scenarios like that. Here, as you can see in the rain, different scenarios like that I've exposed it to, and I want to see how it does. I know, as I say that, I'm driving manually myself, but let's take a look at some of the good and bad of FSD version 12.
What in God's name is the car doing? It's not getting over. It's supposed to be over into the collector lanes onto the right. It's not doing it. I might as well get over myself. I have to disengage, get over, and thank God, because see, if I didn't get over, if I waited for the car, I would have missed my exit. So back into FSD. Hopefully everything works out fine from here. Okay, for some reason the car wants to turn right and put on a right signal and get onto that right lane. But if I get into that right lane, then I gotta exit. And this isn't my exit. As you can see by the map, I've got a few more kilometers before I exit. So I'm gonna stay. I keep turning off I keep canceling the signal, and as you can see, last time it did this, and I ended up getting off on that exit because I stayed in the right lane, and then it tried to get off at the last minute, and it almost caused an accident. So I don't know why it wants to keep going in that right lane and getting off on that exit. Okay, so now that I'm off on my correct exit, the proper one, I'm in the left turn lane, and I'm waiting for the signal to come on, and I'm here stopped in front of or behind another Tesla, and still no signal. I'm not sure why. Like, this is two lanes. The car that just pulled up there is a left turn lane. The one I'm in is a left turn lane, and then the other two lanes are right turn lanes. I'll just wait for the light to go green and see if it turns the signal on. Hey, there's another Tesla. Okay, so it's a green light, and yep, it's turning left, but still no signal. I guess it just didn't want to signal. It assumed that people know that I'm in the left turn lane, but it still should have put on a signal. That's not good. Okay, so I figured I would record this. A lot of people complain about this. It's happened to me a few times. I'm entering onto a highway, merging, and this lane ends up here, and no signal, and yeah, luckily nobody was beside me because the car just went over to the left into the lane. Luckily, like I said, I looked on my left to make sure nobody was in my lane there. Okay, my exit's coming up. I'm still sitting here in the middle lane here. I got to get over to the right. My exit's on the right. There's a signal. Okay, so it's going to move over. As you can see, it's the last minute. Whoa, it's doing... I got to take over. Whoa, that was close. It went onto the shoulder there a little bit. It crossed over the solid white line because it so aggressively changed two lanes because it was the last minute. I was on the line there.
It keeps wanting to go into the fast lane when there's nobody around. It should just drive in the driving lane, in the right lane. It keeps wanting to go in the passing lane, the fast lane. There's nobody around, nobody behind me, nobody in front of me. That guy just passed me, and he's in the JOBY lane. Doesn't make sense. It keeps wanting to go there. And this, see, he wants to do it again now. No idea why it keeps wanting to do that. It's not like it wants to go in the JOBY lane. It just hangs out here in the passing lane. So I'll put it back manually to this lane. I'll check Okay, so I'm on assertive. Maybe that's why if I change it to average. Again. Change to average and see what. No, it still wants to. Even on average, it wants to go back into this lane for some weird reason. It's like it doesn't recognize the HOV lane, and maybe it thinks the HOV lane is the fast lane. So let me try putting it to minimal lane changes. That I think will help. And we'll just hang out here now, hopefully. Yeah, that seems to have done the trick. It's just not wanting to make lane change now. I guess that minimal lane change button works. Just keeping that on once you get in the lane that you want to be in, and there's nobody in front of you. You don't anticipate yourself having to change lanes often. You just click that. Okay, we're off roads now, into a parking lot. A somewhat not busy parking lot, but it has some turns, it has some cars backing up, it has some pedestrians that we just passed. Let's see how it does and where it goes when it hits. Okay, right now it's going straight down to center in the wrong lane of traffic. Okay, it's sort of moving over now. Let's see, it's going to turn right. Is it going to continue straight? Yeah, it's doing a good job. Yeah, a little jerky on the wheel, but doing decent. Coming to a stop at this stop sign, and now it wants to turn left. Well, I don't want to go left, I'll go straight. But no, it did fairly well there. I'm gonna re-engage it here and see what it does. Okay, with the pedestrian cars coming here, I want it to turn right. I don't know if it knows to turn right. Yeah, it actually knows to turn right, so it's gonna turn right here. After this one-way stop sign. The car coming. I don't want it to come too close to the curb. Oh, it's far away from the curb. It's a big lane here, wide open lane, so I can do fine here. Did a good job in the parking lot as far as I'm concerned. It did fairly well. So the cars had trouble with this lane ending in the past few runs here. This lane ends up here, and it just turns into like a boulevard. Car doesn't signal, doesn't even attempt to change lanes. It'll be on my left side, so I'm going to let it do what it's going to do. And as you can see, it just goes. And now it's driving, I have to take over, because now it's driving on the shoulder, like the boulevard shoulder. And it's just hanging out there. It didn't even recognize that it wasn't a lane. So that's the second or third time it's done that. Okay, this intersection has been messed up too. It's supposed to turn on at this light, but the next thing here, and it's green light, and it slows down because it's hesitating. It's realizing what it's doing wrong, and now it goes to turn. So if somebody was behind me, they would have been pretty ticked off by that abrupt slowdown or premature slowdown. They would have thought that I was turning at that intersection, where truly I'm turning here. Okay, this is interesting. There's a crossing guard with a stop sign she's holding in her hand, and if you look down here, the stop sign is detected by FSD by the computer on the screen. That is really, really cool. Expected, funny, but cool. Okay, we're at a red light here, but we're coming up at the other side of this intersection where I've got to go straight at the next light. And it's two lanes, but the left lane is the only lane that goes straight through. The right lane is for turning only. And I don't know why it hesitated there when the light was green. In the times past, when I've come down this road, it wants to get into the right lane. So let's see if it does the same thing or if it's learned its lesson. Because as you can see, I don't know if you can see the orange or yellow signs on the right hand side. It says right lane exits. So you can't go into that lane. You have to stay in this lane if you want to go straight through. And it's doing pretty good. It's actually making me look like a liar now. I've done this twice before, and both times it went into the right lane, because what normally happens is this lane backs up so much. And then, of course, there's always humans that cheat and they have no etiquette, and they go all the way up to the front, and then they cut in either at the front of the line. They'll go through the intersection and try to cut in. That's actually illegal. I've seen cops pull people over and give them tickets for that. Because this lane, it's as you can see, it's clearly marked right lane exits. So if you try to go over the intersection, then you can get a ticket. If you don't, what some people try to do is go all the way up past this driveway where the McDonald's is here, and they try to cut in at the last minute before the intersection. And that just pisses people off. Then it leads to road rage and stuff like that, and people start honking at each other. They're not letting each other in, so you just got to stay in this lane and be patient in the left turn lane and in the left lane. Okay, we're going slow here. This guy's pulling out of a driveway. The car's being very hesitant, probably because the bus is here. And now it's in the left turn lane, and it's really this bus on the right hand is really making it nervous. So we're going through the intersection. It did it right. It was in the left lane a little bit, the left turn lane a little bit too much for my liking. But then the next one, after we come up and under this bridge, I have to turn right at the street after the intersection at the lights. What it's done in the past is it slows down at the intersection, like if it's going to turn right at that intersection, but it's not supposed to. It's supposed to turn at the small side street past the intersection. And you'll see if I do this, you'll see in the maps here. Okay, it's got to get in the right lane. What's it doing? Okay, just taking a sweet ass time, but it gets into the lane, and then from here, like I said, it's got to go past this intersection here on the maps and go to the next one. But 9 times out of 10, what it ends up doing, we'll go big screen here for the animation. We'll have to wait. Now we have an amber light, and now it's going red. I know, I got my hand on the wheel. Relax. So we'll wait till it turns green. I'll fast forward all this, and then as we go through the intersection, we'll see what it does. Because in the past, it's always gotten nervous and freaks out. These people are turning, so I'm going to be the first one at the stop line here at the beginning of the intersection. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Actually, now to come think of it, now that we're at the front of the line at a red light, it'll be fine. I'm pretty sure. What it usually in the past, what's happened as it failed, it's when we've had a green light and it's driving straight through, it turns into this right lane, and then it wants to turn, but it knows, like, it gets halfway into the intersection and realizes, oh wait, it's not this intersection I have to turn, but it's already slowed down into the intersection. People are behind me. It's very busy. Probably have 50 cars behind me in both lanes. It's rush hour downtown Toronto. So let's see what it does. Green light. It's very hesitant, but it did it. It did it. I don't know if this car is learning or not, man. I gotta wonder if it's actually learning. Okay, it's doing the turn, and it did it fine. Okay, so I know it's not learning. It has a neural net, and it's supposed to learn, but I don't think it's doing it now. So anyone listening at home, don't comment, or comment if you want, but I know, don't comment and try to correct me. I know it's not learning. It will in the future, and that's why, I mean, I guess in the future we'll have very seldom updates for FSD because it's supposed to be learning all the time. So we should have very seldom updates.
That a title with Ferrari and Newey would be the greatest, ideally with Hamilton. Whoever gets it though will have to wait because he has a contract until the end of 2025. That is the way the article concludes. So given leaving...
Okay, that was good to see. The car was in the right lane. The bus in front started moving. Started stopping to, I guess it was a bus stop. It was picking up or dropping off, and the car moved over. But what I've been trying to do for the last 2 kilometers is try to stay in the left lane, only because I know the right lane, that bus always pulls over every 500 meters or half a kilometer, and you get stuck behind a bus. No one's going to let you in if you try to merge onto the left lane. So I was trying to stay, but every time, even though I put it down here, I put it in chill and I took off minimal, I put on minimal lane change, it still, when it was in the left lane, it wanted to come over into the right lane because I guess it knew it was a passing lane. It didn't want to drive in the passing lane. But this is on city streets. What it should be doing is doing the same behavior on the highway. I find it tries to hang out in the highway in the left lane too much, in the passing lane, and it seems to be the opposite. In the city, when you can drive in the left passing lane for certain reasons, like in this case the bus, it doesn't. It wants to move over into the just regular driving lane on the right hand side. But on the highway, it does the opposite. It tends to hang out in the left passing lane, and you can't get it to move over unless someone's right on your butt, which you don't even want to be in that position to begin with. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. 2 lanes, driving lane and then a passing lane, and I'm right behind the bus. I'm stuck behind the bus. The bus is obviously going to stop to pick up passengers right as it stops right here. Yeah, okay. Now the car's probably going to put the signal on to move. Okay, it moved. It moved because it actually had an opportunity to move, because there was a gap beside me. But if somebody was coming or right up beside me, I guarantee you, in this city, no one's going to let you in. So this was just a fluke incident. But it's good to see that the car actually had the good programming to say, okay, this is a bus. It's parked out here. I'm going to go ahead. Speaking of which, this crosswalk that we just came through,
red light camera reported ahead.
That's my Waze. The car seems to crawl through there. Now this guy's right on my ass, which it's expected, because you don't expect someone to like slow down at a crosswalk that much, and it's done it before. Oh, okay, there's construction up here. Let's see what the car does. This is all in one take. It's funny. Oh, see, the car sees that there's construction way ahead, which is good, and it tucks back into the left turn lane, or the left lane. It saw the construction signs way ahead, which is good. That was good. That's very human-like. I like that. So after the construction, let's see if the car goes back to the right turn lane, or the right lane. Yeah, and it does. And of course, nobody's coming, and it's going to go. It's a 40 zone, which is 25 miles. So it can't go that fast. And that's why you see everyone else just going at or just above the speed limit. And it's coming up to this part of the road where I talked about yesterday. Oh, it's going back perfect. The car, I swear the car is learning. I swear the car is learning. Because I talked about this in a previous video. Yeah, I have my hands on the wheel. In a previous snippet here, where I was here yesterday, where the car wanted, in the previous drives, wanted to hang out in the right lane there, where that lane is a right turn lane only, and you have to be in this lane if you want to go straight over the lights. So curious to see when the light goes green and we go on the other side of this intersection, if it tries to, because this lane will definitely back up if it tries to turn into the right lane. I'm very curious to see. But I think it's learning, because I think yesterday it worked fine. It stayed in this lane. It had all the opportunity to continue just now in this right lane, but it purposely came into this left lane. So let's see what happens. Now the light's green. We're crossing over the intersection here. The cyclist on the right in that lane, which it sees. Will it stay in this lane, or will it try to change lanes? No, it's staying in the lane. So it's figured this out, and I didn't do anything. The only thing I could think of is a difference between 0.3 and 0.4. This, as I said before, this is 0.4, and I think the last few times, or the first few times it happened where it was going in the right lane, was 0.3. But for such a small update, could that be the fix that they did?
Ideally, Nui would, let's say if you're Ferrari, would be able to join now, right? Because then he would be able to work through the entire project and develop that 2026 set of regulations.
I like there how it let the person trying to come out of the gas station in. Very courteous, but sometimes too courteous. Now we've got a situation where it needs to put on the signal and merge into the left lane because this right lane is ending. And it does it fine. Person behind me let me in, and that was all cooperative driving, which is good. Okay, so this is a left turn here, but the car always seems to want to go. Oh wait, this is amazing. So on the left hand side here, I don't know if you can see because it's dark, is a dedicated streetcar track in the middle. And when you turn,
camera reported ahead.
And when you turn left, or when I turned left before, it was always turning left into the streetcar tracks. But then now it turned. So did it learn, like I was saying earlier? Did it actually, is the software actually, or the neural net actually learning from my previous disengagements? You gotta wonder, man, because it didn't do it before. Now it's doing it now. See, in my opinion, this is something they're gonna have to improve on and do better. Whenever it's raining, even though it's just raining a little bit here, we've got the message that pops up on the screen saying full self-driving may be degraded or weather detected. I guess because they know the wipers are on, so they assume that it's poor weather detected. Yeah, it's raining, but it's not poor weather. They're gonna have to do better on this, but you know, some would argue that with the current hardware system and the way it's set up now and the hardware that they have, they can't do any better. They're limited to that. So you know, that's an argument for another video. Okay, coming down this hill, getting into the left turn lane, did a good job of getting into the left turn lane. What I'm curious to see here is on this setup of this intersection, it's a bridge around a corner where the oncoming traffic is coming from. This car right now, or this van in front of me, is going to go. Let's see how it measures the vehicles. Oh, it's going. Okay. You know what? I would have probably done the same thing. I sounded a little surprised because I didn't expect it to, but I would have probably done the same thing. You know, it's not, the weather conditions are, it's rainy, but the roads are wet, but it's not like bad visibility or anything. It's one of the more clearer days. Yeah, even with the little sprinkling of rain coming down. That they handled it good. I think that they did a good job there, or it did a good job there, or he or she. I don't know. Like, now that it's a computer thinking like a human almost, like, what do we call this now? Do we call this is like an it, a she, a he person? Like, or are we still just calling it computer software? And it's doing good in terms of lane keeping and speed for the weather conditions, going around this sort of S-bend. As you can see here in the map, it was sort of a S-bend. It banked to the right, then it banked back over to the left. Did a good job. And last but not least, let's check out the parking. Okay, start. It's gonna auto park here, right next to the other Tesla. There is a car waiting there, so let's see how fast it goes. Sometimes it doesn't go fast enough. It takes its own sweet time, but doing a decent job. As I say that, now it slows down. It's going to go forward and try to recorrect, but now there's a pedestrian, yeah, in front, but it's doing fine. It's just the biggest complaint with parking the old version and the new version, and I think this may still be the old version because I have sensors, sonar sensors. I think it just goes slow, and as you can see down in the cameras there, it's not centered the best, but it'll do. I've got enough room on both sides that I won't get any door dings. So I'm satisfied.